We are just.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Okay, call meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from October 6th. Let me have a chance to look at that. I'll make a motion to approve. Okay. Got a motion to approve the minutes, a second by, motion by Mark, second by Harry. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Aye. Motion carried 4-0. Okay, next item on the agenda in old business is, TIF districts and a declaratory resolution. You all have a document in front of us. Economic development plan for the Petersburg Energy Economic Development Area. Lisa, do you want to take off from here?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Lisa Lee with Ice Miller, and we serve as outside TIF counsel for Pike County. Christy, it should start with a resolution and say
Yeah.
declaratory resolution of the Pike County Redevelopment Commission.
Yeah, I think I got my stapling wrong when I was hurrying up there a while ago. I think I put the other 2 pages in front, but you should have them all.
Okay.
I think your economic development is at the beginning, but it should be at the end. I just got off.
Yeah.
A little bit. It should be.
Yeah, so you should
the end.
have, I apologize, Christy. Do we have a resolution number we should start with?
Well, that was a question. So I've been told 2 different ways. Does it need to stay with the county's numbering, or since it's a redevelopment commission resolution?
Redevelopment Commission. Should be the Redevelopment Commission numbering.
Okay, well then it's 1. We haven't had one, so it would be 2025-01.
2025-01. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you want to distinguish it from the county ones somehow? Like with a. like
However,
one
the
whole-
Redevelopment Commission numbers their resolutions.
Yeah, so I was just asking them if they wanted to,
Are they what? I mean, I think it's.
because we have a 2025-01 for the county.
So I
We
think.
could do like 1R, like for redevelopment or something, or. Right,
Something.
yeah,
Some commissions would do like capital RDC hyphen 2025-01.
well, let's do that.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
do-
fine. That works.
Yeah, we'll do that. Sorry if I missed you out, Lisa.
No, that's okay.
I just know we've done them in the past where they've duplicated and it gets a little confusing sometimes.
Understood. So this resolution that you have is, it begins the process for creating both an economic development area and a tax increment TIF area. And here, this is going to be your main document. This declaratory resolution, it sets your base assessment date. So if the commission adopts this resolution today, again, it just starts the process, but it does set the base assessment date for the areas that we're going to draw here as January 1 of 2025. So as you're probably aware, property is assessed every January 1. So these parcels of property that we're going to talk about have an assessed value as of January 1 of 2025. That becomes your base assessed value. So that's your baseline. And then assuming improvements have been made subsequent to January 1 of 25, each January 1 after that, these parcels will be assessed again, and hopefully the assessed value at that time is higher. So you have your base here, and then you have your new assessments each January 1. So this incremental assessed value growth is multiplied by your tax rate, and that becomes TIF revenue that you can actually spend as a redevelopment commission. So this document starts the process for this economic development area, which we are currently referring to as the Petersburg Energy Economic Development Area. That EDA gives you the jurisdiction to use the redevelopment statute in serving or benefiting that overall EDA. Then within that EDA, we are also creating two, the statutory name is tax allocation areas, but those are your TIF areas. Those are where you're going to capture increases in assessed value. We have one that is going to be labeled the PEC solar allocation area or TIF area, and the second one is the PEC battery allocation area. Those are meant to, and I can turn this over to Christy or Ashley or Charlie at some point, but those individual TIF areas are, the boundaries of those are basically drawn around the solar energy project going on and around the battery energy project going on. And then those two areas are connected by State Road 57 and Blackburn Road to make them the overall economic development area. And the reason we do that, we want to maintain two separate bases and TIF pledge opportunities, one from the solar and one from the battery. But we would like the authority to be able to use TIF in one in serving or benefiting the other if we need it to prime development or additional infrastructure or enhanced public safety or school projects in either one of the areas. So having one economic development area lets us do that. So that's the basis of what we have here. It also lays out your economic development plan, which was the first two documents on your stapled document. And that's important to look at the laundry list of projects that we have there. So it'll say project description, and then you'll see a long list of bullet points that flows over into the next page. What we have done here, under the redevelopment statute, you cannot spend TIF on a project that is not in your economic development plan. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to be your main document for this area through the life of the area. So this document can be amended, but what we try to do is cover all the bases on typical infrastructure types of projects that you might need to do with the TIF that gets generated. I'll highlight a couple in the middle of this first page. Purchase or lease fire equipment, which will serve the area, and equipment that promotes economic development. So just trying to broaden that project list a little bit to allow those particular things. But if you turn the page, then there's the last four bullet points really get more to this particular area. The fourth one from the bottom really is a catch-all. The construction, reconstruction, and/or extension of any and all other utility infrastructure. So to the extent somebody makes an argument that we didn't cover an infrastructure project up above, we cover it with that. But the last three are particular things that Ashley and Christy thought might be important here. And keep in mind, any of these things can be deleted and/or we can add to this list of projects. So what we've added, the legislature a couple years ago authorized the use of TIF for police and fire, both capital and operating expenditures. It's the only operating expenditures line item that the legislature has authorized. So we put that in here. It doesn't mean you have to use it for that purpose, but if it's in here, you can use it for that purpose. The second one is the statute also authorizes a redevelopment commission to use up to, and again, this is an ability to do it, not a requirement to do it. You can use up to 15% of the TIF that is generated by an area in any calendar year for educational program. So this is the other potential operating piece of the TIF. But for educational programs, curricular items, if you have a school that's got a STEM curriculum and they need computers or they need some high-tech equipment for that, or the software itself, the STEM curriculum software, you could use this program to fund some of that for some of your schools. So again, it's an ability to do it, but not a requirement. And then the final one is more of a catch-all for school corporations that might have capital projects that we could still meet the requirements of the redevelopment statute. And what I mean by that is it has to have we have to be able to tie it to economic development. I will tell you that education is pretty much widely seen as a benefit to economic development. So as long as it's not like a football stadium, if it's more of a vocational or again STEM curriculum or something that we could tie to bettering an individual's ability to, be in the workforce, etc., we could pretty much qualify those also under economic development. So the goal here was to make your project list pretty broad and give you the authority, to the extent TIF is generated, to start really using those dollars for things that you can't really use other county funds for. So with that, I'll stop and see if there's some particular questions, see if Christy or Ashley or Charlie want to add. I know part of the idea here is that you can kind of control the assessed value by, you would be able to make a decision annually whether or not to pass through some of this incremental assessed value, and that could be anywhere from 1% of the AV to 100% of the AV that you could annually decide to pass through to help with tax rates, etc. But if you have outstanding bonds, then we would certainly have to look at what you would be looking to pass through. You couldn't pass through so much that you impaired the payment of those bonds. So with that, I don't know, Charlie, if you want to talk anything about the tax rates and the AV and etc., or move on to Christy or Ashley.
Yeah, I'll just add, and this is Charlie. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, Charlie.
Good morning. Kind of like what we talked in October, we're really just trying to set this up so that the county has the ultimate in flexibility. We know the big projects are coming online, and the assessed value is going to depreciate like we talked last time with it being personal property. So the key is we're not committing to do anything specifically. We're just creating it to have the opportunity to use TIF in the future as it all comes together. So the numbers, kind of like we talked last time, that they're big numbers on what the investment is. We still don't have any more definite detail from AES on the exact dollar amounts. That we'll still be working on that. But that's just where we are. So if there's any questions on the numbers, I can answer those, but we're really pretty much where we were when we spoke last.
Charlie,
Go ahead.
actually, I sent an email on Friday. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but it had AES did respond with where their assessed value, which the amount of the project is done for AES Solar. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't think I did,
Yeah.
Christy.
Okay,
I didn't see it.
okay, it was
Yeah, I saw it. Charlie, it came actually it was sent to Greg
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
sorry.
at 4:16 on Thursday. Are you talking about Ashley, when you sent me the taxpayer names, it also then had the assessment for distributable property in it?
Yes,
Okay, Charlie, I will forward that to you.
Okay, perfect.
sorry.
It's okay. I didn't notice you weren't on there.
And believe it or not, we've got a little bit of snow in Indianapolis this morning, and
Yes, we do.
it's wreaking havoc on everybody. And Greg's not in the office yet this morning, so
We
Monday
definitely do.
morning, Monday morning problems on the road. So
Yeah, I'm looking out my home office window, and we probably have a couple, at least an inch and a half to 2 inches on the ground, which when we weren't expecting it, I can see that being road trouble. For purposes of the redevelopment commission, let me just quickly kind of tell you the process that we'll go through here, because there'll be an opportunity, Charlie will have an opportunity to look at these numbers that Ashley sent, and then for the public hearing, potentially present some additional financial information. But it starts here with you as the redevelopment commission. We will then deliver notice of a public hearing that we believe is going to be held on December 1st of this redevelopment commission, after I think the Board of Commissioners meeting on December 1st. So we're looking, I think, at 9 a.m. for a public hearing of the redevelopment commission. That would get published at least 10 days prior, plus FSG, Charlie's team, would be putting together what we call a tax impact statement that shows the impact of capturing this assessed value, and that gets sent to all the overlapping taxing units at least 10 days prior to that public hearing. So the budget officer for the county, obviously, you'll have that, but budget officers for any of the taxing units that are going to overlap this area will also have an opportunity to see that tax impact statement. So then the redevelopment commission will hold that hearing, and after that hearing, you have an opportunity to take 3 different actions. One, you can confirm the resolution you're looking at today with no changes. 2, you can modify and confirm it. So if you see anything in this resolution after you leave here that provides concern, you want to ask questions, you can certainly do that via email. And then we would have an opportunity to modify it at the public hearing stage. Just an example, when Boone County was creating it, they had a private water company through their county, and they did not want TIF used on waterworks projects. So they made sure that was taken out and was not a part of the authorized project list. So that's just an example of something, if you think of that is a hot button for your constituents and for you, and you just want to take it out, we can do that at the public hearing stage. And then finally, it goes to the Board of Commissioners for final approval of the creation of these areas. And then it gets filed with the auditor, with a parcel list, and with the Department of Local Government Finance. So that's the process. If you had a county plan commission, the plan commission would be put in the middle of that as well. But since you don't, it's the Board of Commissioners making that final sign off. So that's the process.
Lisa, this is Greg, excuse me, Greg Willis. My understanding by approving this is basically setting January 1/25 as our baseline, knowing it's going to increase 1/1/26.
Correct.
Is that a good understanding?
Yeah, from the timing perspective, absolutely. If we want to capture increases that have been done since January 1 of 25, we need to accomplish this process, best case scenario, by the end of the year, and get these documents filed so that January 1 of 25 is your base assessment date. And as Charlie said, that then gives you the most flexibility each July to determine if you want to pass some of that through. And those are all later determinations.
Okay. And by doing this today, it's not locking us into this exact document, as it can be tweaked.
Correct.
As what they said, so. Okay.
Yep.
And so this timeline puts up just one commissioners meeting after the public hearing, since we're doing it after our first December one. But I mean, we would have, even if it would get rescheduled for some reason, we would almost have to meet for claims to come in. And so we'd have to call a special. So I don't think that's a problem.
I've got questions. Lisa, this is Chris McKinney. I'm a member of the Pike County School Board. Did I hear you correctly a while ago when you said that none of these, if the if this commission were to give up to 15% to the school corporation, there's certain guidelines that we can and can't use that for, such as, did you say we can't use that for like sporting events or for sporting venues?
I mean, most likely the 15%, there's two opportunities here with respect to schools. The 15% is a specific statutory section that authorizes the county to contract with a school corporation to provide up to 15% annually for certain types of curriculums and services and curriculum type equipment. Then there's a second piece of this where I said you could also maybe qualify a actual capital project of a school corporation if you can also tie it to economic development. And I said that education is pretty much agreed to across the board in economic development circles, that improving education is an economic development benefit. Where I talked about sporting, like a stadium type of thing, that is a harder stretch to tie that to a benefit of economic development. So we would probably want to find a different place that we could put the same amount of dollars that you might be asking for some sporting type of venue. If that makes any sense.
Now, would the redevelopment commission have to put in their budget yearly the amount that they would be?
Yes, if they were,
distributing to the school corporation?
if they're looking at the 15% statutory authority, there would actually be a written document that would get written up that's separate from this. So this gives them the authority because it's in their economic development plan. But then they would approve a separate agreement for the 15% or up to the 15% and what that's going to be spent on, what that can be spent on. That can be fairly broad. But yeah, to the extent the commission budgets each year, they would want to put that in that spending plan. I guess we call it a spending plan now, the legislature does, as opposed to a budget. But yeah, they would need to put it in their spending plan on an annual basis.
Now, the capital project piece of that's not limited to the 15% though, is it?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, that's all that.
Anybody have questions? Have any? Seeing it's time to do, or if someone has any questions.
I would move to approve the declaratory resolution.
Got a motion to approve the resolution, or a second? Second. Harry? Is there any other discussion this time? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 4-0.
Thank you. Christy, I will send you a draft of the notice of hearing for you to sign off on the date, location, time, make sure I have it correct. And then we'll get that sent in the next couple days. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, Charlie, before you leave, can I ask you?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if I caught you. We had asked this last year when we did we had not done our spending plan before, we did it last year, we never got a good answer. Do you know, once we do this spending plan document, if we would have a change, can these be edited or amended at any point?
They can be. You know, it's kind of a strange statute, I think, on the requirement. And what we normally do is make the categories and the amounts pretty generic so that we say capital improvements of $1 million or whatever we think it might be. We don't identify the projects all the time, just so we have some flexibility so we don't have to amend them. But
Okay.
we believe you can amend them. Yeah, so
Okay.
the
And
the
we did
key
that
is
as
to,
well, and make them general, but we just never really got an answer for sure, and we weren't positive.
and it was
so-
brand new and everybody was kind of working through it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep. Yep.
all right,
That sounds
thank
good.
you.
And yep, you guys have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the 2026 spending plan.
So I printed you guys what we did last year, which was just the two categories, infrastructure and other anticipated expenses. Last year we did 50/50. I also printed up the template that they had given us last year, which has the multiple categories in it. In case you wanted to add one, or if we wanted, change what we did last year at all. And then I also printed our balance as of right now for both Mega Site and the Pike Crossing. This does not include the December draw we will get. But I honestly, ours are a little sporadic, so I have no idea for sure what that, to even guess on that amount. So, I mean, right now, our spending plan, I feel like needs to be probably based off
Supposed to send.
that. He doesn't have to, this doesn't have to, sorry, it's all right. So I didn't know, do you guys wanna go with just those two again, the infrastructure and the other anticipated?
Mark Vice President.
That's okay. He's got so many responsibilities, he doesn't know.
And you said you gave us what we did last year?
Well, I gave you it's not the amount, but if we did 50/50, we did 50 in the. Yeah, but those are what we approved last year with those two categories. And then the other page, this one just has all the categories that they,
Did we put it in there for the whole, in balance?
I think we did for what we have now, knowing that this December draft will actually be a little bit extra. Or draw will be a little bit extra, but,
I don't see, why we couldn't just do 50% to each like we did last year. Move on. I'll entertain a motion, somebody wants to make one. I'll make a motion to split up 50/50.
1 second.
Okay, there's a motion by Mark to split the spending plan. 50% infrastructure, 50% other anticipated expenses using the current balances as they are today. That everyone's understanding. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Anything under new business? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion. My second.